Hey there, welcome to another episode of Life Design Plus, where we are mastering the art of living your authentic life. I want to welcome you back to the show. Solo episode today. As you can see, we'll be back next week. So July has 5 Thursdays, which means get to work in another extra episode. So next week, tune in. We'll be picking back up with George Kinder's 7 Stages of Money Maturity, covering the next 2. But this week I had a solo episode, a little bit of I won't say a rant, but a realization I wanted to talk through. Partially to help me think through some of this stuff and process it and figure out how I can use my experience to help more people. But also, it might be valuable for you. So, I'm gonna lead off first and say that what I'm going to try to convey is a very fortunate position to be in. So it's around money and wealth and those types of things. So I don't say this to dismiss where some people may not be in the same boat, may not have the same experience, may not feel the same way. But all I can share is my journey. And I was having a conversation earlier this week with a friend, and I basically told him that, I think about where I am in my career, financially, where we are from a net worth, asset standpoint. We're good. My financial plan is on a strong path. Nothing needs to be changed. But I can't help but think about how I could be a lot further along in some of those areas, number-wise, had I made different choices throughout my career. And I told him, and this is where it's going to sound weird, is that my wife and I, Ange and I, we have underachieved where we could potentially be in society's form of success from a financial standpoint. And what I mean by that is we made decisions in our careers to throttle back growth, to start a business that we knew wouldn't make tons of money, but it was something we wanted to do, to have time and flexibility to be with our family and be present and be around. And the sacrifice in that from a financial standpoint was making more money, saving more money, having more net worth. So when I think about had I stayed at a previous employer, the 403B company I worked at, and I just kept on working there, what I would have made, the 401k match, all of those things, my net worth would be significantly greater. But I wouldn't be able to do the work that I want to do. I wouldn't be able to have a podcast like this. I wouldn't be able to live the life that I really want to live, my authentic life, if I was still there. But from a numbers standpoint, where a lot of people focus is I would have been better off doing that. Same thing with Ange. If I think about lifetime earnings and what my wife could have made, we could be significantly more wealthy on paper and in bank accounts had she stayed in sales. Phenomenal salesperson, one of the best business people I know. But that wasn't what she felt called to do. It wasn't what she wanted to do. And starting a boys' clothing boutique, which congratulations to Ange, it just celebrated its 10th birthday, which is wild, was what she wanted to do. And she built a phenomenal business. And, she could have had a significant increase in income, had more sales, had she chosen to have a children's boutique, had she chosen to do a women's boutique. But boys is a very specific niche. Boys clothing has worse margins, has the lowest margins of all of the retail stuff out there. But it wasn't a decision made on how can we make the most money. And maybe we'll look back over in time and say, you know what, I wish we would have focused on making more money for X, Y, and Z. But I don't think we will, because while our values require us to have certain levels of income, and my goals and our plans for our family require us to have a certain net worth at certain times, money has never really been the motivator. And I just look at that and I'm like, I look at people who, from what I can see, I don't know their financial situation, seem to be able to do more, have more, all these things. And I'm like, we could have been there. We could have been doing those things and having those things. But it would have meant we would have missed out on some of the other things. The freedom to start a business and run it the way that I feel like I want it. Be able to evolve as an individual and get to the point where I understand the importance of alignment of spirit, mind, and body and what that means to pursuing your authentic life. I can't quantify how much money that is worth. But for me, it's so valuable. You can't put a price tag on it. But I can't quantify it for you. And I'm willing to know that, hey, we could have more money in the bank. We could have, more trips or whatever the material thing that we could have done with this extra money. that we passed up on to live the life that we want. We could have those things, but this is way more important. So, I don't know what that means to you, but it's in something I've been thinking about, and it brings me to kind of defining success. So I think maybe the purpose of sharing our underachieving, if we would have made our decisions on how do we maximize our earnings potential and our finances through our life, we would have gone down different paths. And that may or may not have been the right path for us. And who knows what that timeline looks like in the life that we're living and how happy we are at that point. I can't imagine it would be better than it is now, but maybe it is. Who knows? We'll never know. But we chose to define what success meant to us. And I think that is something that a lot of people struggle with. And for us, success meant we are going to underachieve what on paper we could have done to live a life that aligns with who we are and what we want. And for me, gives us freedom to explore and experiment and grow. That may not be your definition of success. I'm not saying our definition of success is right, but it's our definition of success. And I've written about this before, and I've talked about it before. I really didn't make the connection of the underachieving being our decision and our version of success to how do you define success until I started talking about this. That's what's kind of fun about these is just I have an idea, I turn the camera on, and I ramble. And hopefully some of you out there like those types of episodes from time to time. Obviously, I don't want to do it all the time. But so I would encourage you to really look at, where you are, where you want to go, and define what you think success is to you. Is success to you commas in the bank, investment accounts and assets and net worth? Or is success to you getting to a certain level of financial security and then calling it a day and saying, hey, for now, this is where we need to be for all the other reasons? An example of what I mean by underachieving, again, another one. I talked about Ange, and she was a top salesperson for the real estate company she worked with. She's great at sales, great at relationship building. And again, she's a great business mind. There's a lot of other businesses she could have built, a lot of other companies she could have gone to. She could be running a company by now if she would have stayed with them long enough. But for me, one way of underachieving from a financial advisor standpoint is I made the decision a few years ago to not actively try to grow RLS Wealth. I had grown the firm to a size that supported my family. For a while, it allowed me to support a team and have people here to help me, good people here to help me do a good job for clients. And I didn't see the need to try to grow the business because the trade-off would be if I took on more clients or grew the team to take on more clients, yes, that would mean revenues would go up, but so would expenses in some respects, but also so would my time commitment. And I'm not against working hard. I work hard when I'm working, but I want to be able to go home at a reasonable time and make dinner for the family. I do a lot of the cooking. I enjoy it. That gives Angela relief so she can go do some of her work that she didn't get to do because she gets home before me. I want to be able to go to all of the basketball games. I want to, on a Monday morning in the summer, take Roman to go see his trainer and work from my car. If I have a bigger firm, then I can't necessarily do all of those things because there's more responsibilities. I'm spread more thin. And I definitely don't have the time to create videos, to create podcasts, to write, to do poems and these creative outlets that are really important to me. So I capped it. I quit asking for referrals. I quit marketing RLS Wealth. From time to time, would get good introductions to people or someone would find me and, I take clients on if it was a good fit. And then that also allowed me the time to explore life planning and go through the kinder training and find my new purpose of helping people find and live their authentic life. And the way that I find and help them do that is through the life planning process and getting to get more reps in there and doing that. And who knows where that takes me in the future. And, maybe in the future when the boys are older, there comes a time where I go back to working and taking on clients and growing the business and building something bigger because I have the time. When the boys are out of the house and they're in college, I can take the time spent at practices and picking them up and all those things and apply that towards building the business greater if I want to, and still have plenty of time for Ange and I to do the things that we want to do. So I don't view being a firm that manages, in our profession, everybody loves to look at, what's your AUM? We manage $66 million in assets for clients. I'm proud of that number. When I started this firm in 2015, like I thought if I got to 30, 40 million, that would be amazing. And to be where it is now, that's awesome. That's big enough for me. I don't need to go bigger just to prove things to other financial advisors. I can share the size of my firm with pride because I know that I have great clients. I get to serve them. I love being around them. I have a business that allows me to live a good life, and more importantly, gives me the time to live that life and be with my family. So yeah, it'd be cool to have a $100 million firm or a $250 million firm or a $1 billion firm. But there's a lot of things that come with all that I don't really want in my life right now. So compared to other advisors, I'm not as quote unquote successful, but I think I'm as successful as somebody running a $1 trillion firm because I have everything that I want and I'm doing things the way that I want to, and I get to live the authentic life that I have discovered for myself. So that is an example, just one example of many from a professional standpoint that I intentionally chose to underachieve what I could have done and what the profession tells me I should have done. And I'm happy that I did it. So don't be afraid to quote unquote underachieve, because that is a definition that might be set by somebody else that doesn't align with you. So define your definition of success and use that as your benchmark for achievement. And if it's not the biggest business or the most amount of money that you could make or build, that's okay. If that's what's right for you, that's okay. So at the end of the day, I think one of the things I've realized that is a hindrance to my messaging is I don't have a silver bullet. There is no right definition of success. There is no right definition of achievement or underachievement. There's your definition. And you get to define that, and you get to build your life around that. And unfortunately, a lot of people want the silver bullet. They want the magic formula. They want the how to do things to get this life. And I don't think that exists for the authentic life, because everybody's authentic life is unique to them and different to them, which has different parameters. So I just encourage you again, think about your definition of success. What is it that you want your life to look like? What do you value the most? And can you build your life to allow you to live that, to bring that to you? And then whether that is a high achieving status or an underachieving status compared to society's standard, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because at the end of the day, all of that quote unquote success that we gave up means nothing. They're all just, numbers on paper. They are investment balances. And at the end of the day, that we can't take those with us. And those don't allow us to live. So underachieving is not necessarily a bad thing when you've set the standard. And for you, your underachievement is actually achieving everything that you want. So just something to think about. And I forget who I was talking to about that, but I think I brought it up with a couple friends. So to my friend, whoever you are, I can't remember. I've talked to a lot of you guys this past week that I talked to about that. I'm glad that we went down that path, because it gave me something good to think about, and hopefully it gives you something good to think about as well. All right. That's it for this short solo episode. If you're listening to this on the podcast, would love if you gave a like, gave a rating, subscribe. Those things help these episodes find more people. And don't forget that these are also on YouTube. So if you're not watching on YouTube, but you might, and you might want to put some faces to the names of when I have guests, head on over to YouTube, subscribe there. And there's other videos that go up there also. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in, for allowing me the opportunity to come share these ideas with you. I would love to know if they resonate with you, what you think about them, what they mean to you. Drop those in the comments, shoot me an email. Would love to learn more about how you view achievement and underachievement and success. So with that, I will let you go. Thanks for joining me on my pursuit. It is an honor to be a part of yours, and let's keep pursuing it.